So for today's video, I'm just giving you a quick reminder of what we did in class today for the one kid that was absent in my previous hour. And all we have to know how to do here is take a problem like this and use the PEMDAS rules to multiply it all out. It's very common to make mistakes here. Like, there's a ton of things you could do wrong. But what you should do is this part first, because why? Because it's in parentheses? No. We couldn't actually do n minus 8. What we could do is the exponent. That's our second step. So by multiplying this out, we're doing the exponent. And that comes out to firsts, n squared, outside, minus 8n, inside, minus 8n again, lasts, 8 times 8 is 64. There's two negatives, makes it positive 64. And I'm going to go put that all in parentheses still. Why? Because I want to know that that 2 is still sitting out there, waiting to multiply everything by 2. But I got to wait till I'm done on the inside. The 2 is still waiting out here till I complete that exponent part. N squared minus 6, 8 and 8 is 16n plus 64. And now I have to times everything by 2. Now I know for some of you, you're going to be annoyed, wish you had a calculator, but 2n squared is really easy. 32n, pretty easy. How about 64 times 2? What's that? 128, very good. And if you had to, on a test, you would not be able to use a calculator. You'd have to go put 64 times 2, if you can't just do it in your head. 4 times 2 is 8, 2 times 6 is 12. Ooh, there's my 128. All right. And again, a common question on today's worksheet was, do I have to solve it? You can't solve it, because it doesn't say equals anything. So then this is it. It's done. It's simplified as much as we can. That is called an expression. If it said like equals 128, then it would be an equation, and then you could solve it. But it doesn't say equals anything. There was no equals anywhere. So then it's an expression. Versus if there's an equals, it would be called an equation. All right. So that is one of the things that's on today's homework. Here's another one. And a ton of kids were like, don't know what that means. And I don't blame you. It's been a while. It looks like a square root, but then there's a little 3 there. Does anybody know the name of it? Yes.
Cubic root.
Cubic root. Or for short, a cube root. All right. So to really understand the cube root, I really got to make sure you understand a square root first. A square root is like square root of 64, and just say it if you know it. 8. How about square root of 144? 12. Square root of 25? 5. All right, good. So that was a deal where this times itself gave you this, right? Well, this is kind of like that, but it's something times itself 3 times gives you 27. So is it 9? No. Because 9 times 9 times 9 would be way too big. What is it? 3. Very good. Because 3 times 3 times 3 makes 27. So let's do another one. Cube root of 64. I know everybody thinks of 8, but that's 8 times 8 is 64. That's not the one. Is it 3 times 3 times 3? No, that was the last one. 3 times 3 times 3 makes 27. Yes? 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And then 16 times 4, 64. Now, I know I wouldn't have expected many kids to have that one, but do you get now that she tells you it's 4, it's probably 4. 4 times 4, 16 times 4, 64. All right, so tell me the one other cube root that's going to come up a lot. There's only a few of them I can ask you because there's not many answers, right? Yes?
125.
Okay, 125 cube root, like this, you mean?
Yeah.
All right, I don't think many people can do it, but I think you can. What do you think the answer is?
5.
5 is correct. Why? Explain why. So the kid's like, why is
Because
why
5
is it
times 5 times 5 is 125.
That's right. Okay. What's the simplest? No. There's actually a really, really simple one. What's a simple cube root? Yes.
1.
Yes, and that is, I think, the simplest one. Cube root of 1, because 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, so cube root of 1 is 1. So what's the, if I was trying to get at one that wasn't the simplest, but is still pretty simple, yes? 16, you're close. 8. You were thinking 8. Because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And this one equals 1. Make sense? All right. You're going to see, by the way, you know, every now and then a kid's going to make a mistake, but probably more often, I'm going to make a mistake. I go really fast, and sometimes I make a mistake. You got to catch me and correct me, though. So when that happens, just let me know. And I'm not going to feel all bad, because you can make mistakes and you'll be really good at math. You know what I mean? That's the reason why we give you 95% an A. Give you 100 questions. We kind of expect you're going to make 5 mistakes. It's okay. And I think you'll find that I'll probably, again, make more mistakes than some of your math teachers. But I will also have strengths that sometimes some of your math teachers didn't have. So we all come as a package of our strengths and weaknesses. One of my weaknesses, I make some dumb mistakes. Now, one of the advantages you have is you're in my 4th hour, and usually by now I've already made some mistakes, and then I don't do that in your class. So I'll probably make less mistakes in your class. My 1st hour, I'll forget to enable the Dropbox so that they can Dropbox something, or I'll forget that Schoology quiz is already locked and I gotta enable the Schoology quiz. So anyway, they catch most of my mistakes. All right, so here is a beast problem. See if you can handle it. Now, the order of operations kicks in, and you are starting to go, okay, is there any parentheses? Yeah, they're actually all over the place. And by the way, you never told me what cube roots are. Are they like parentheses, or are they like exponents, or what are they like? Well, they're kind of both. Do you get how, maybe you don't know this. The cube root of 125, some super smart kid in here might know this, that 125 to the 1/3 power is technically what that means. It's both parentheses and an exponent all rolled into one. So really, it comes at the beginning. You know, it's either a parenthesis or an exponent. Either way, it's near the beginning, right? You can't do them at the same time. So, but you also got parentheses here. If you were picking between parentheses and that thing, they're both kind of parentheses. Does it really matter which one you do first? Well, technically there's an answer. If you have 2 of the same thing, the one on the left should be done first. Like if you didn't know this, 9 minus 3 minus 3, okay? If you're forced to give the exact right answer, because there are times it matters, this should be done first because it's on the left. Okay? What if it was plus and a minus? Does plus always go first? No. Plus and minus are tied. So they go in order from left to right. So if I had 9 minus 3 plus 7, a lot of kids are just like, well, I'd just like to get this plus out of the way. Nope, can't do that. It'll actually get you the wrong answer. You have to go in order when they're tied, like plus and minus are, and so are multiply and divide are tied. You go from left to right. So you'd have to do this first. All right, so back to this. If I'm picking what has to be first in this nasty beast problem, I would pick, there's 2 things that are kind of parentheses. And in PEMDAS, they go first. So I'd look in here, can I do 2x minus 4? No, nothing I can do in there. Can I do 125? No, but I can do the power on 125. But that's still, the question was, can I do anything in parentheses? Technically, no. The stuff in the parentheses can't be simplified. So that's out. What comes next? PEMDAS, right? What comes next? Exponents. So, does that have an exponent? Well, it has an exponent of a 1, but I'm not going to really do anything with that, right? Does that have an exponent? Yes, it does. That's where you have to know that that's one of the ones you do first. So we already talked about this one. If you have a decent short-term memory, you probably know that that's 5. Because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Now there's a minus there. I'm dropping it down. Minus 5. Yay, I've done part of my problem. Next, I should multiply this out. Why? Because multiply, after I'm done with parentheses and exponents, I go to multiply. So, my exponent's done. I already did it. It's right there. Multiply and divide are tied. But, Mr. Server, there's a divide by 12 right there. Well, then you do them from left to right. And if it's a fraction, it's from up to down. So this is first. So what is 3 times 2x? 6x. 3 times the negative 4? Negative 12. Then it's divided by 12. And then it's minus 5. There. That is a good question. I know I told you to clear the fractions, but that's if it's an equation. This is not an equation. It doesn't equal anything. So what is next? Well, I go back to PEMDAS. Is there any parenthesis? Is there any exponents? Is there any multiply? There is a multiply, 6 times x, but that's kind of, you can't really do 6 times x, right? So, is there any divides? Yeah. Yes. So that's what we should do next. And I know for some of you this is going to be hard, but it's really not that hard. It's the 6x is going to get divided by 12. And the 12 is going to get divided by 12. So what is 6x divided by 12? You can write it 6x divided by 12 if you want to, but do you get that that can simplify? What is 6/12? 1/2 x or x divided by 2. Either way would be okay. Now we got to go the 12 divided by the 12. And what's that? -1. Good. And what about this minus 5? It's just still haven't done it yet because we weren't at minus yet. We were doing multiply. Or no, divide actually. We finished parentheses, we finished exponents, we finished multiply. We just did the divide. What are we left with? Add and subtract. Is there any add subtracts you can do? Well, you can't really do this, right? Because there's nothing to do. But so then could you do this? Yes. Final answer, 1/2 x minus 6. Did anybody have that before I said it? Nice. And by the way, x over 2, x divided by 2 is the same as 1/2 x. So if you said x divided by 2 here, totally fine. That was really hard. They're not all that hard. Most of them are way easier than that. Let's get to it. You have a worksheet. Let's do the first couple together. And then there's 10 questions, and I felt like it's a little too long, so I'm chopping off problems 9 and 10. So open up today's, you'll see it's a worksheet. On the worksheet, we're skipping 9 and 10. You can go right to them and scribble them out. Number 1. Would you read me number 1? I'm sorry to make you hurry, but...
7 times 3 minus 8 divided by 2 minus 3 squared plus 1.
Nice. Okay. So, parentheses, exponents multiplied. Okay. PEMDAS. Mr. Savage, can you tell me what P would make us do here? Nothing. How about exponents?
3 squared.
Yes, and now this is really important. Pay attention to this. -3 squared versus -3 in a parentheses squared gives you different answers. Did you know that? I know some people know that. Some people think these are the same thing, and they both come out to 9. They do not. When there's parentheses, it comes out to positive 9. It comes out to -9. So be careful when you do this. That does not come out to 9. It comes out to -9. Another way you could say it is it's minus 9, but don't lose the negative. Okay? Negative 9. There weren't parentheses, so. All right, now I go back to my rules. Parentheses, nope. Exponents, nope. Multiplies, yes, but there's also divides. So I got to go find all my multiplies and divides, but then I just have to do them from left to right. So I see a multiply that's on the left. It's going to be tied with the divide, but I do them from left to right. So 21 minus 8 divided by 2, 4, minus 9 plus 1. Don't try to do too much in your head. Now, can you just, they're all adds and subtracts. Can you just do them in any order you want? No, you will get it wrong if you just do it in any order you want. Got to go left to right. So help me. What's 21 minus 4? 17 minus 9 plus 1. Can I just do the 9 plus 1? No, you will get the wrong answer. What is 17 minus 9? Ew. It's like 17 minus 10, which would be 7, but just one more than 8. There we go. And then 8 plus 1? 9. Who had 9 before I said it? Okay, cool. All right. That was problem number 1 off of your worksheet. There'll be a few on this worksheet that'll kick your butt. And it's especially bad when they're like this. Because we did one like this. People forget and they think that this is 9x squared. No, it's not. It'll have 9x squared in it. But you got to write 3x plus 1 and another 3x plus 1 and do the FOIL thing. And get it all done and wait till the end to multiply by 2. There's something like that in your worksheet. Just watch out for it. It's tough. All right. So I just did one. That leaves you, since I've cutting off the last 2, that leaves you 7 problems left. You'll probably finish it in class. All right. So I had a wonderful chance to help quite a few people last hour. They got stuck on things. They came up to help. I get to know you a little bit. You get help. It's awesome. It would not be a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you care, and it helps me get to know you. So I would love it if some of you would like to walk up and get some extra help. If you want to use a bathroom pass, you probably saw this during our anchor times, or what do you call those? Some other slides that we did earlier today. All aboard, yep. You just walk up with the pass almost completed, meaning wait to me to say yes before you actually commit to the pass. Okay, but if you walk up, I personally would use my phone. You can use the iPad, but if I had a phone, I would do it on the phone because aren't you going to want to bring your phone to the bathroom anyways? And the pass then is on your phone. Okay, and then you're walking through the hall and somebody says, hey, do you have a pass? You can be like, yep, see. Okay, so if you want to get a bathroom pass, either bring up the iPad where you've got to the hub and you signed yourself and you're ready to go and I just have to say yeah and you can submit. Or you can bring it up on your phone and get it ready and then I'll say yes and then you hit enter and it's like official. The reason I just wouldn't lock it in is because sometimes when you walk up I say, nope, we're leaving in 1 minute. And then you'll be like, oh crap, I wasted a pass. Okay? All right, if you have any more questions, please come up and ask.